Picture this. You're at a dinner party, and someone gushes to you, "Oh my God, you're so lucky. Your husband helped with dinner tonight." You stand there, smiling while screaming internally because he microwaved leftovers. Once. While you spent your Saturday morning scrolling through Pinterest for meal ideas that everyone would actually eat, cross-referenced the family calendar to make sure tonight worked for everyone's schedules, checked what was already in the fridge so nothing would go to waste, then drove to 3 different stores because Target had the good pasta sauce on sale but was out of the bread you needed, and the organic carrots your daughter will actually eat are only at Whole Foods. You planned this meal around your son's soccer practice ending at 5:30, your husband's conference call that might run late, and your own deadline for that work project. You defrosted the chicken yesterday, marinated it this morning before your own job, chopped vegetables during your lunch break, and started the rice the second you walked in the door because you calculated exactly how long everything would take to be ready simultaneously. You set the table with the placemats that actually match, put everyone's preferred drinks in their usual spots, made sure there was something on every plate that each family member would eat without complaining. You served everyone else first, cut up the toddler's food, got up 4 times during the meal to get forgotten napkins and refill water glasses and find the hot sauce that somehow migrated to the back of the pantry. And yes, you'll load the dishwasher tonight after everyone goes to watch TV, wipe down the counters, put away the leftovers in properly labeled containers, and start the dishwasher because you're the only one who remembers that it needs to run overnight to be ready for tomorrow's breakfast dishes. But somehow, he's the hero of this story because he pressed 3 buttons on the microwave and carried 2 plates to the table. The most maddening part? Your friend genuinely means it as a compliment. She sees his bare minimum contribution and thinks you've hit the spouse lottery because the bar is set so catastrophically low that basic human functioning gets celebrated like he just solved world hunger. Meanwhile, your orchestration of the entire domestic symphony, the mental labor, the planning, the execution, the cleanup, remains completely invisible, expected, unremarkable. And you smile and nod because what's the alternative? Explaining that what she witnessed wasn't help, it was him participating in his own household for literally 60 seconds? That would make you sound bitter, ungrateful, like you don't appreciate the effort. So you swallow the rage and the exhaustion and play along with the narrative that positions your basic life management skills as lucky fortune and his minimal participation as extraordinary generosity. Sound familiar? If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. There are more of us out there carrying invisible loads, and we need to keep talking about it. There's a disturbing psychology behind why this keeps happening. You're living in what I call the sharp pencil trap, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's how it works and why it's making you feel insane. Imagine a row of dull pencils and one semi-sharp one. Which one looks the sharpest? The mediocre one, obviously. Not because it's actually sharp, but because everything around it is so dull. You've been grinding yourself down to nothing, wearing your soul thin like fabric stretched beyond its limits. Day after day, you carry the invisible weight of an entire household's emotional ecosystem. You're the one who remembers that your daughter needs new school shoes, who notices when your son seems withdrawn, who anticipates your mother-in-law's hurt feelings if she's not included in holiday plans. You're the family's emotional radar, constantly scanning for needs, conflicts, and obligations that require your attention. You manage the mental spreadsheet that no one else can see, tracking doctor's appointments, social commitments, grocery lists, permission slips, birthday gifts that need buying, friendships that need nurturing. You're the one who lies awake at 2 a.m. remembering that tomorrow is picture day, or worrying about whether you responded to that text from your friend who's going through a divorce. You coordinate play dates, manage schedules, Remember which child hates mushrooms and which one is allergic to dogs. Meanwhile, he moves through this carefully orchestrated life as if it simply happens around him by magic. He enjoys the smooth-running household, the fed children, the maintained relationships, the remembered obligations, but he remains blissfully unaware of the constant mental effort required to create this stability. He can be spontaneous because you've handled the logistics. He can be the fun parent because you've been the responsible one. He can relax because you're always on. Tell me this resonates with someone else out there. Drop a yes if you felt this in your bones. The algorithm needs to know there are more of us than it thinks. You're not alone in this, and you're not asking for too much. And perhaps most exhaustingly, when you try to share this load, you're met with the need to explain, delegate, and manage his efforts too, turning what should be shared responsibility into yet another item on your endless to-do list. You've become the CEO of your own family's emotional corporation, and he's the employee who shows up when called but never takes initiative, never sees what needs doing before you point it out, never carries the weight of truly caring about all the moving pieces. The grinding down isn't just about being busy. It's about the loneliness of carrying responsibility that should be shared, the exhaustion of being the only one who truly worries, and the slow erosion of your own needs in service of everyone else's comfort. So when he occasionally does something, anything, it looks amazing by comparison. But here's the part that'll make your stomach drop. This isn't happening by accident. There's actually a term for this in psychology, and when you understand it, everything clicks into place. It's called strategic incompetence mixed with learned helplessness. Your husband? He's either doing it on purpose or he's so comfortable with your burnout that he doesn't even notice anymore.
Want to know the 3 ways this trap gets set? The comparison game. Society compares him to the worst examples of husbands, not to actual partnership. At least he doesn't cheat. At least he comes home. At least he acknowledges the kids exist. The bar is literally underground. The praise addiction. Every time someone compliments his minimal effort, it reinforces that what he's doing is enough. Meanwhile, your exhaustion goes unnoticed because you make it look easy. The invisible load. You handle 47 things before breakfast, but nobody sees that. He handles 3 things all week, but those are visible. Guess who gets credit? Here's the psychology that will blow your mind. You're not just enabling this. You're accidentally training everyone around you to expect your burnout while celebrating his bare minimum. Every time you say it's fine, I'll do it, make excuses for why he can't help, handle his responsibilities without complaint, accept praise for being so organized, translation doing everything, you're teaching people that this dynamic is normal. But here's what nobody tells you about the sharp pencil effect. The pencil that does all the sharpening work, it eventually disappears completely, whittled away stroke by stroke, crisis by crisis, until there's nothing left of the original self that once existed. Think about it. Every time someone needs you to be sharper, more focused, more capable of handling their problems, you sacrifice another piece of yourself. Each emotional emergency, each family crisis, each moment when you have to be on and performing optimal functionality, it carves away another layer of who you used to be. The demands never stop coming, and each one requires you to give up a little more of your core. You remember when you were whole, when you had dreams and interests and energy for your own thoughts. But now, you've been ground down to serve everyone else's needs so efficiently that you've forgotten what your own handwriting even looked like before it became nothing but grocery lists and permission slips and reminders for other people's lives. The cruel irony is that the more capable you become at solving problems, the more problems find their way to you. Family members learn that you're the reliable one, the one who can handle pressure, the one who somehow always finds a way to make things work. So they keep coming back, expecting that same sharp performance, that same ability to cut through chaos and create order. But they never pause to consider what happens to the tool that's doing all the cutting. Unlike a pencil, though, you can't be replaced when you're used up. There's no pack of fresh versions of you waiting in the drawer. When you're finally worn down to nothing, when you've given away so much of yourself that you can barely remember what you wanted from your own life, everyone around you will suddenly realize they've lost their most essential tool. But by then, the person you once were, with her own sharp edges and distinct purpose, will have disappeared entirely, leaving only the memory of what she accomplished for others and the hollow ache of what she never got to do for herself. And perhaps the most heartbreaking part, you'll have become so used to being consumed by others' needs that you might not even recognize your own disappearance until you reach for something that was essentially you and find nothing there but empty space where your authentic self used to live. You keep grinding yourself down to make everyone else's life easier until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize the exhausted stranger staring back at you. The brutal truth, this system is designed to fail. Because while everyone's celebrating his occasional effort, you're slowly dying inside. You're becoming resentful, exhausted, and invisible in your own life. And the most infuriating part? He probably thinks he's a great husband because everyone keeps telling him he is. So here's the question that changes everything. How long are you going to keep sharpening everyone else while you disappear? Because the moment you stop doing 90% of the work is the moment you'll discover if he actually wants a partner or just an unpaid employee with benefits. Because once you stop carrying everyone else's responsibilities, they'll either step up to meet you as equals, or they'll reveal exactly who they've always been. The choice is yours. But first, you have to stop being the pencil sharpener.